Adam Weiner, how are you?
I'm good, Brian. What's up?
Oh man, everything. You know, it's funny. We were talking off the air, and you said, "Hey, it's okay. It's okay if you don't have your video on, if you're naked." And I feel like that's how a lot of your videos end anyhow. So should we be prepared here for some, taking off of the clothes?
I'm just gonna follow your lead, Brian.
Okay, all right.
Do
Well,
it you feel, baby.
I don't know who paid to see that, but here we go. So Adam, as Low Cut Connie, we appreciate you joining us here today to talk on our Zoom member session at 90.9 The Bridge, Private Lives, the latest album. And we've fallen in love with you and heard so much about your live performances. And look at that. You've got the beautiful album cover there.
It's real. It's a double. Look at this, Brian. Oh,
it folds out to a poster, right? Oh, that is so good.
It's cascading. You see that?
See, that is why you have to have physical art, right? Physical media, because you can't get that on a digital file.
Listen, whatever. If people want to listen to it and enjoy it digital versus, I don't care. Whatever way, whatever delivery method, but I'm just excited that so many people, including all of you with such great taste in Kansas City, have enjoyed this record.
Well, we really have, and thank you and congratulations to you. So what we want to do is to let people discover a little bit more about you, to discover more about Adam, about Low Cut Connie.
Let's discover more about each other today on 90.9 FM, The Bridge.
We're totally using that as a jingle. I love that.
Do you have a jingle?
We do not. No,
you need one.
I think that's a job for you.
The greatest radio station in Kansas City, 90.9 FM, The Bridge. At least use The Bridge.
Okay, I laid out there so we could get that clean. So that way we have that. That's perfect. I like that. Top of every hour, we're gonna play that, man. That's great.
The Bridge. I'm telling you, people are gonna go nuts over that. Cliff, come on, Cliff. The Bridge.
Yeah, we've got the big boss on here. He'll make the call. That's it. We'll just play that every hour. I love it. So tell us about the room where you are. You're in South Philadelphia right now, right? This is your home.
This is my house. You are live, unadulterated, unfiltered right here in my spare bedroom in my house in South Philadelphia. This is a room where I practice. It used to be a room where I would take naps, and now it's my entire career is based in this room.
Yep.
We perform twice a week right here in this room on my live stream show called Tough Cookies. I've been doing it since March 19th of 2020. We have done 76 episodes, Bri. We have people from over 40 countries that watch right here in this room. I sit at the piano. Can you hear this?
Oh, we can hear it. Love it.
Sit right there at the piano. Sit right back and hear a tale. And I perform whatever comes into my mind. And I sing. I do monologues. I make people laugh. We talk about real issues of the day. We do tributes. I do horoscopes. I read palms, which maybe if there's time, Bri, I could read a couple palms.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Whatever it takes. But right here in this room, this is where the Tough Cookie show happens.
And I mean, you've said that you run this like a TV show. I mean, this is your career now. So this is what it's come down to. You want to keep a regular schedule. You want to serve people with new content all the time.
It's not like a television show. It's better. It's better than a television show.
There you go.
Because you can't interact. When you watch a talk show on TV or a music show on TV, you can't interact. But with our show, it's live and interactive. So I talk directly to you at home. Okay. I sing directly to you. I talk directly to you. And I say, what do you want to hear? And you type, okay, I want to hear the Spice Girls. And then I take a vote and people vote, and then I do it or I don't do it. I I ask people at the beginning of every show, if you're with me at home, say yes. And then literally thousands of people type yes. There it is, Sarah. Yep. Thank you, Sarah Bradshaw from 90.9 FM in Kansas City, The Bridge. We have like thousands of yeses, and people in different languages, they say yes. And then I say, where are you right now? Check in. And they say, I'm in Afghanistan, I'm in Iceland, I'm in Johannesburg, I'm in Oslo, I'm in Tokyo, I'm in New Jersey. And people, you know, they meet, they talk to each other. Oh, I visited Stockholm last year. I got, you know, la, la, la. Mm-hmm. And then I say, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? And there's no wrong answers, Bryan.
Yeah.
People say, I'm feeling stressed. I lost my job. People say, I'm very sad. I lost a dear friend of mine. People say, I'm excited. I just got a job. People say, you know, I'm ready to blow off some steam. I've had a crazy week. People say, I'm stoked. I just went on a virtual date and it went well. I mean, the whole range of emotions, and people tell us. And then you know what I say after that, Bri?
What's that?
I say, give me 1 hour of your time to change your frame of mind. Okay? Because during this time, over this last year, people are challenged. Their mental health has been challenged. So we have people with serious, isolation. We have people with serious depression issues, contending with grief, with loss of motivation, with loss of joy, with loss of connectivity with their community, with their family, with their friends. And so we admit that at the beginning of every show. And then through art and performance over the course of the hour, I do my best to elevate people's mood, right? Over the course of the hour. And we've been doing that for 11 months.
Yep. Yep. Well, and that's, and you've had a number, you've talked about in other places that you have a number of nurses who listen. You have doctors and nurses on COVID wards in hospitals who are listening to just get a break. And, you know, we talk about mental health a lot, especially on our morning show, and how it's okay to not be okay. And there's a lot of stuff that we're hearing. And I love that you approach performance as a sort of salve to that you're going to give all of yourself to help somebody to pick up their day.
Absolutely. It's my job. And I've had such a journey with the last year of the pandemic, in that at first I thought, oh, I lost my job. You know, I can't go out and tour. I can't go perform for people. So I guess I'm unemployed. I guess I'm not useful, because you feel useless when you're unemployed. But then, Bri, we started doing the Tough Cookies broadcasts, and it really started to resonate with people. People started to send us photographs and videos and comments about how much it meant to them, how they look forward to the show every Saturday or every Thursday. And nurses were broadcasting it in the hospitals, and all different scenarios, people who were really ill. And I'm sad to say, we've lost a certain number of viewers, people who had cancer or COVID, and we lost this year, but we were watching all together, you know, in their final months. And it gave me such a sense of purpose that I could, through my performances, maybe in the smallest, tiniest way, I could bring people together, make them feel better in some kind of way, just by sitting at the piano or taking my clothes off and throwing chest hairs at the camera. Let me see if I could get a good one for you.
Oh my.
Let me get a good Kansas City.
Oh boy. Oh, there we go.
I don't know if you can.
It's out of focus, but I trust it's there.
Oh wait, I know what I have to do. Anyway, whatever.
As he shows it to the camera. Okay, so I want to get into where all this comes from and how you got there. But first, I think we should frame this. I think we should maybe see a performance, and let's see what it's all about. Let's see what you bring to people and how you really turn their day around. You mind performing something for us now?
What if I don't want to?
That's okay. You can do what you want. It's your
I'm
call.
kidding.
Babe.
You know I want to.
No, it's you first, man. You first.
What do you want to hear? Something off the new album?
Let's do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, this is what we're going to do because of the technological considerations. I'm going to give my headphones to Will over here, and you can talk to him and say, it doesn't sound good. Like, just interrupt. But I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play for you, and
Perfect.
You can talk to him and you can tell him if it's bad.
Okay.
So I'm going offline for a second, but you can talk to Will.
Okay. All right.
I'm freewheeling right now. I can't hear you at all. So if right now, Bryan or Megan or Wendell or Gary or Sarah, if you said something really terrible about me, I wouldn't even know. You could just smile right at me and say, he's such a weirdo. And I just like wouldn't know. But even still, I'm so happy to be here for Kansas City, 90.9 FM, The Bridge. Can you hear that? Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Life is strange and you do what you gotta do just to survive. You got your hustle and you gotta know that, baby, I got mine. Would it make you cry if you knew about the things that you couldn't let slide? Are you scared to lie? 'Cause you know that I'm edging it on the slide. TT's a nanny, but she deals a little weed on the side. Jimmy Payne's houses, who the hell know what goes on when they dry? On Friday nights, we get together and we talk about this crazy life. Are you scared to lie? 'Cause you know that once in a while we get dignified in our private lives. Come on. In our private lives. That's the way we live. Don't dwell on it. At the end of the day, we got love to give. That's the way we live. Don't dwell on this. Woo! Do-do-do-do. Come on. Do-do-do-do. Kansas City people, I love you. It sounds cheesy, but these people, they're the reason I'm alive. The town freaks and the sleazies bring a tear to my eye. I'm like a child, skinny dipping with the squares on the other side. We're all scared to lie. In the city, we've been working for a different prize. In a private life. In a private life. Hey, that's the way we live. Don't dwell on it. At the end of the day, we got to love to give. That's the way we live. Don't dwell on this. Come on, Kansas City people saying that's the way we live. Don't dwell on it. At the end of the day, we got to love to give. That's the way we live. Don't dwell on this. Private love, private lives, private love, private, 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 private
Yeah. All right.
I didn't have my headphones on, so I couldn't hear the thunderous applause from all of your viewers.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Oh,
Look
I
at the
see.
chat.
Megan,
Yeah.
Isabel, thank you.
Yeah.
Cliff,
Isabel says amazing.
Sarah.
Cliff says, oh, hell yeah.
Gary's trying to figure out how to find those clap buttons. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't, man, that feels so, I'm kind of getting emotional over here because that feels so good. We have not had a performance experience in so long, and to have that, my brother, that was amazing.
I'm glad we're sharing these moments.
Same here. Same here. It's Adam Weiner, Low Cut Connie at 90.9 The Bridge. Boy, that was what a start. We needed that. We needed that. That is, and you can see there where performance is. I mean, my gosh, that is just for so many people the thing that pulls it all together. That just lets you let go of so much stuff and just makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good just as much as you or anybody. Isabel has her hand up. Does that mean she has a question?
I don't know. She can ask in the chat there, Isabel. Oh.
That was the cursor. We could put her on the spot and make her ask a question.
Ooh, yes. Yeah,
she's like, oh, don't.
Well, I've got plenty of questions for you. Not that it's interrogation or whatever. So I want to find out what makes you tick, though. Let's go back to where this all began. People want to know about Low Cut Connie. We're bringing this to the masses now in Kansas City. You were born, grew up in New Jersey, right? Because you're in Philly now, but you grew up in New Jersey. Tell us about your home life. Was there music around you? And I know you played the piano at a very young age. That's something we all did.
I grew up with schmaltzy music, Annie, Cats, The Little Mermaid, Barbra Streisand, Barry Manilow, all the greats.
We're about the same age, so we had the same stuff. Yeah, for sure.
All the schmaltz, and and then I loved everything on MTV in the 80s. So Madonna and Prince and Tina Turner and Bruce Springsteen, everything.
So I read somewhere, and this was exactly for me too, that so you had all the schmaltz, you had the Manilow, you had all this stuff, and then you see La Bamba, the movie, Richie Valens, Lou Diamond Phillips, and that changed a lot of stuff for you.
What a hunk.
I had him in studio one time. He is a hunk. That guy's amazing.
And he's also in Young Guns 2, which I love, which has the guy that played Cameron in Ferris Bueller. Remember that, Will? You ever see Young Guns 2? No. Blaze of Glory, Bon Jovi, Blaze of Glory? No.
Great.
No, but yeah, La Bamba and Back to the Future were just like seminal. I think I was 5, and I was just like rock and roll. Chuck Berry, Richie Valens, Elvis, Little Richard, Fats, Wanda Jackson, all this, Etta James. And that messed me up because that was all old music. And I remember sitting at the piano and trying to figure out Chuck Berry,
Yep.
Like those great Chuck Berry guitar solos, trying to figure out how to play them on the piano, like trying to do it with my left hand. But and I didn't know it, but it just started me on this creative affliction that has lasted my whole life and led me into a life of rock and roll, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and you also note, and this I think happens for a lot of people because we've heard this quite a bit. That church, in your case, synagogue, had something to do with that. And for those of us who aren't Jewish, but my sort of takeaway from it that you see, especially the Hebrew language and stuff, is that it is very musical. It has an intonation to it as a religion. Is that, and you called that what? Jewish soul, right?
Sure. Yes. Where I grew up in a very conservative Jewish synagogue, very old school, like the rabbi was a Auschwitz survivor from Lithuania. And,
Wow.
you know, there were a lot of older people who had survived the war and come to the US, and the service was all in Hebrew, and the singing, it wasn't the modern American influenced service. It was the old world service. So it had that old Ashkenazic Jewish vocal styles. And I collect records. I'm a big vinyl collector, and I have a bunch of these old cantorial Jewish recordings with the singing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu kol nidrei maaseh v'yevsoyeh v'charomeh v'chinoseh v'charomeh. And it was, it's why I love flamenco singing and a lot of like Arabic singing. It has this same kind of soulful intonation that so much, you know, African American music in America has that I love. When I, you know, it's soul music with a little s. It's just like you hear people sing and it reaches your heart. And so I grew up with this type of soul singing. It was a Jewish cantorial soul singing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's before this started, you asked me how to say my name, Truta. So we're Romanian, right? All of my ancestors from Romania, they're all Eastern Orthodox. And in the Eastern Orthodox Church, they sing everything. And it's beautiful. I have no idea what they're saying, but it is gorgeous. And
I bet
it sinks into a lot of people.
Yeah, I have like even from a young age, my early teens, I got into buying CDs. I would research and buy these catalogs of CDs from around the world, like old Greek music, weird, you know, African music, and field recordings from churches, and anything that just sounded so far distant from what I grew up with, I was fascinated by. And I still have that in my music collecting, and my ear is tuned to, I love international vocal styles and regional vocal styles in the United States, and the way that people express feeling through singing, you know?
Yeah. In fact, you studied, what was the track called? Ethnomusicology, right?
Ethnomusicology, that's right. I went to Memphis, Tennessee in 2001. It was my term, and it's near and dear to my heart. It was right before 9/11. I moved back to New York City, where I was studying like a week before 9/11. So I'll never forget, you know, those months of 2001 that I spent in Memphis before 9/11. And I was studying Memphis music, early blues, gospel, the early R&B and rock and roll records on Sun Records, everything from Howlin' Wolf to Mose Vinson, who was a piano player at Sun Records in the 50s, to Jerry Lee Lewis, and everything in between. And I just immersed myself in, I guess what you would call Southern music.
Yeah. And while you were in Memphis, you walked into the Reverend Al Green, his church, where he was still a pastor. This is the Al Green, Take Me to the River.
Oh, yeah.
What was that experience like?
I went there on Easter Sunday.
Wow.
And Al was wearing his red 3-piece velvet suit. And I've never seen a man look as fly as Al on Easter Sunday. Reverend Al.
Yes, sir.
And that was fantastic, you know, to be the white Jewish guy sitting there in church, and people with tears in their eyes and grabbing me by the hand. And these were just formative experiences for me, that no matter what your religious upbringing, no matter what your affiliation is, we can all agree that music and performance and art stirs the soul. It stirs the emotions. And I experienced that in Memphis at the church. And Al was just fantastic. I've seen Al Green perform all his hits with his slick band.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen Al in his church perform with 14-year-old kids backing him up on his sermon.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, you can figure out which one was the better performance. I mean, he's great no matter what, but those church performances, oh, I got chills.
I can imagine. My gosh. I mean, that's his element. That's his element. And that is the real soul coming through.
Absolutely. And I just carried that with me.
Mm-hmm.
And my music and Low Cut Connie's music isn't religious music. But I do want to stir people's emotions. I do want to reach people, reach their heart, make them feel something.
Yeah. Yeah. Now of the, I was sort of looking through of the jobs that you say that you had prior to music. I found a great and varied list here. Vintage clothing store.
Yes.
Doctor's office, fragrance model.
Yes.
What is fragrance model?
And this is big. But you know, when you walk in the mall, Bryan, you have, what do you have there in Kansas City? You have Macy's or Bloomingdale's or?
Sure. Nordstrom. Macy's, all. Yeah. Yeah.
You walk into the mall, to go get your, go get a pretzel from Annie Ann's Pretzels and maybe see if anything's on sale at H&M. Maybe get some moisturizer at Sephora, go to, what's the place where they take the kids with the jungle theme? Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know you hang out there a lot, Bryan.
I've got a 10-year-old, so it's all about justice.
There you go. So, but when you're there, there's these people that try to spray you with cologne and perfume.
Ah, yes, indeed. Right.
So I did that for a long time.
Nice.
Even in high school on the weekends and the summers. And that's in my world, that's called a fragrance spritzer because you're spritzing. This is spritzing.
Okay.
Ooh, spritz. Ooh, yes. So
you get a spray and walk through it, right? That's
right. Yeah. And my life has come full circle because the band became successful enough that I could have my own fragrance. So
love it.
This is Private Lives, which is a new all organic unisex fragrance. And it's a very light citrus smell. And it just gives you a positive feeling. So I used to spray cologne and perfume all day, and now I have my own.
That's beautiful. That's what a gorgeous circle that is of life. I love it.
It's a circle of life. No, sorry.
Okay. Hey, how about, let's not go too far away. Would you like to perform something for us now to kind of break this up a little bit?
Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Man, I don't know. Do you want to do something early? Do you want to do something like early Low Cut Connie? You want to do, I don't know.
Sure. I'll do something.
Shake it like Tina, Beverly, but I don't know. I'm up for anything, man.
Yes. I'm gonna do, why don't we do Beverly?
Okay. All right.
Which is a song that brought us to the attention of so many radio stations around the country like you guys. Because you have to remember, Bryan, Low Cut Connie never got signed.
Mm-hmm.
Unsigned band. I've been turned down by at least 50 record labels over the last decade. And in the process, I had to figure out how to do everything on my own. And so it took a while by word of mouth and just sheer elbow grease and persistence, because we never had a lot of resources to slowly accumulate fans and supporters. And so at radio, it took, let me think, 4 albums. It was the 4th album where we went from, 15 radio stations in the country to 50 or 60 or 70. And then on the 5th album with our song Beverly, which I'll perform now, that was the song where we went to like 150 stations. But you have to understand, Bryan, it was an organic, brick by brick growth.
Yeah.
Because we never had a label. I didn't have a radio team or any of this. it was like out of my house, you know, reaching out to people at concerts, talking to people. And so that song is very special to me because it brought a lot of new people into my life. So I'm going to hand the headphones over to Willie.
Okay.
And I'm going to do Beverly.
All right. It's Low Cut Connie on 90.9
Tell me
The
if it
Bridge.
sucks. If something is sucking, tell me.
It is not going to suck.
Don't just hang me out to dry. Down on my knees, you read a paper and watch TV. Don't even say a single word to me. Talk to me, slipping away. Sit around a trailer and sleep all day. Something funny and it just won't say it's not okay. Screaming your name, bend over backwards while you watch the game. You're making faces just to feed the flame. It's such a shame. Beverly, come on and talk to me. Let me be free to try.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I don't know what it sounds like. We're just here in my room, but
yeah.
I hope it sounds okay to everybody.
No, we're enjoying the heck out of this. That is great. That is so good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, we
Could you
appreciate
grab me
that.
my water?
It is Adam Wiener's Low Cut Connie, and that was Beverly off of Dirty Pictures Part 2 performing for us on 90.9 The Bridge. Boy, again, thank you so much. I mean, the live performance, it's just so great to see this happening again. Let's kind of pick up where your musical quote unquote career started. I was reading about one of your first, maybe it's one of your first musical performances. You said you were playing in a battle of the bands in some kind of band, and you told the crowd, if you scream, I'll take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And so they did, and you did. And was that the moment you sort of realized,
I was 17.
Gosh, I have power. I can harness a crowd and they will do whatever I ask?
No. I was 17.
Uh-huh.
And I was so shy. I'm still shy, Bryan. I'm, socially.
Yeah.
So in school, I was one of these kids that got bullied a lot. I was one of these kids that, I was not cool. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And I found a way through it through art. I was doing the plays and music and photography and writing, but school was difficult, you know. For a lot of people, it is socially. But for some reason, I got up in front of people on the stage and I said, "Yeah, I'll if you scream loud enough, I'll take my shirt off." And they did, and I did. And it was kind of like, where did this guy come from?
Uh-huh. So you surprised even yourself.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
I surprised everybody. And I remember afterwards, it all seemed so natural. And afterwards, all these people were coming up to me, boys and girls, like, wow. And I was like remarking, they seemed so stirred by it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I can remember thinking, you have something. There's something there that you need to try to access. And it took me a long time to really get access and then learn how to control it and grow it as a performer. But that was my first moment where I thought, wow, there's something wild in there.
Yeah. So tell us then about your first real gig at a sidewalk cafe in New York. You said you were
Wow.
pretty darn nervous.
Here's the thing. I shouldn't say it was my first gig, but it was my first gig playing my own music.
Okay.
Meaning,
Yep.
I got these jobs playing piano in bars and restaurants and ballet classes. I was always getting hired
Mm-hmm.
to play piano for requests or a certain thing. That was like a meat and potatoes thing that I did. But I didn't sit there and sing my songs.
Yeah. Yeah. You said it wasn't, those aren't concerts. That's a job. It's a job.
But the Sidewalk Cafe in the East Village of New York had an open mic thing. And I was 18 or 19. I can't remember if it was which year, but I signed up. I started watching it before I decided I would do it. And then I decided I would perform at the open mic my own 2 songs. And the thing is, Bryan, I could get up on stage and perform in a play or dance or scream or do, you know, any kind of performance and be totally comfortable. But I got up there to sing my own songs and I was literally shaking like a leaf.
Yeah.
My leg was shaking, my voice was shaking and cracking. It was terrible. And it was scary because it was like I thought I knew how to perform.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something about performing my own material that was just it shook me up.
Suddenly you're vulnerable. This is presenting your art to the world.
Yes. And I was dissatisfied with the fact that I couldn't do it well because I like to be good at things.
Yeah.
And I was good at things, but I wasn't good at getting in front of people and singing my own songs. I could have gone up there and sung someone else's song comfortably, but my own song, it really threw me for a loop. And it took me a long time to get over that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but think about, you know, all the years you played karaoke or you did cabaret in South Pacific, but those are other people's words. Those are other people's characters. You're inhabiting somebody else's, you know, life there.
In a lot of ways, it's acting.
Uh-huh.
But for me to do my own music out of my own brain, out of my own heart and notebook, it was clear to me that it wasn't acting. And so you know what happened, Bryan? I left I was trying in some way to be an actor. Like I was studying to be an actor. I was in this thing called experimental theater wing.
Okay.
And after that, I fully dedicated myself to music because it felt like this is where I'm actually supposed to be. not acting, but actually integrating my musical skills and my writing skills and my performance skills all into one place. And that was audacious because the hardest thing to do is to have any kind of success writing your own material, no matter what field you're in, you know?
Yep.
And I felt so strongly that I was going to try as hard as I could to make it with my own songs. And it took really until I was 30. It took me well over a decade to connect with anybody. I tried and tried and I tried and I tried and I toured and toured, but it didn't really, I didn't really have fans until I was 30 with Low Cut Connie, that first Low Cut Connie album. By accident, it hit something, you know, not a hit song on the radio, but it resonated with people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to punctuate is you sort of alluded to this, is like this workman's effort that music has been, and even up through, you know, the beginning of Low Cut Connie, because as you get into that band and you start putting out records, but you still had other jobs. You've talked about you've had you still had day jobs, and music was not the center of your world yet.
Oh yeah. My last day job, I quit in 2015. So it's only not even 6 years fully. So the first 4 or 5 years of Low Cut Connie, I always had day jobs, and I was spending on the band and working as a teacher to keep it going into debt, putting the band on credit cards. But I guess I felt, I didn't always believe. I did feel though that I had to see it through. Let me put it that way.
So let's talk about that day in 2015. You're teaching, you wake up one morning, your phone has blown up from people saying a certain somebody has placed one of your songs on their best songs playlist.
Yeah.
And that somebody happened to be the President of the United States.
Yeah. Obama. Let's be clear.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was, that was life-changing. You know what's funny though? It did not change my career fortunes in and of itself. Like no record label saw that we were on Obama's playlist, which was, and by the way, it was his first playlist.
Yeah, we're used to it now, right? But that was the first time.
He's done it every year, but 2015, he did his very first summer songs playlist. There were 20 songs, and we were one of them, Boozophilia. And Aretha Franklin, Bob Dylan, Rolling Stones, Sam Cooke, you know, Low Cut Connie. So it was like one of these things is not like the other. But there was no record label. It didn't like get us a label. It didn't get me a booking agent. It didn't get me a manager. It didn't, you know, Coachella didn't call, you know.
That just sounds like bad A&R.
It just didn't, I didn't have the resources to do much. And you know, it also speaks to something, Bryan, not to bring people back down to earth, but there aren't too many silver bullet things that do happen anymore.
Right.
Like you could be on Jimmy Fallon's show tomorrow and it might still not be enough to give you a full-time music career. It's not the way it used to be. So that Obama thing, it didn't actually change my fortunes, but it did. It was a moment where I said, it's now or never. I'm either going to quit the job and do this band full time and take it to the next level, or that's it. I'll never do it. So that's what I decided to do.
Yeah. But you got to go to the White House and you got to even meet President Obama, even just briefly, right? You don't get to spend a lot of time with the leader of the free world.
I would say 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
but it was profound. And he was as cool a cucumber as you can imagine. He, amongst other things, he said, I like what you're doing. I like your style. Keep it up.
It sounds like, yeah, that sounds like something he would say. And you've stayed presidential because you just played, what? You just headlined Biden's virtual inauguration
For Pennsylvania, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
They did the inauguration with Lady Gaga and Springsteen and John Legend and all the people at night, but during the day, they did an inaugural event that Biden's people curated, that Joe Biden, Jill Biden, and our senators in Pennsylvania and Delaware spoke. And we headlined that at his request because he's a fan.
Yeah. So, I mean, you appealed to a certain, level of politics there. That's good to know.
It was an honor. It was a surprise. We were given less than a week's notice.
Wow.
And because of COVID, we did it right here in this room. But it was an honor because we've been doing these Tough Cookie shows for almost a year. And I've been working very hard, Bryan, to motivate people, give people hope, make them feel like there's something to look forward to in our country and in this world. And I appreciated that the Biden campaign took notice of our Tough Cookies shows, and that we were trying to unify people. We're trying to make people of different political, racial, ethnic, and demographic backgrounds all grooving on the same music. And so no matter what the future holds, I thought it was a cool thing that they noticed that and asked us to do it.
Yeah, that's great. And in Pennsylvania, you guys did did it start off as a joke, like go out and vote, PSA sort of thing, but it turned into something bigger?
It was called Don't Be a Schmuck, Go Vote.
Oh, yeah. I like it, though. That's great.
And that sort of caught on, and it actually got replayed quite a bit in various states. I just wanted people to get out and vote. I thought it was, I don't get into the political arena with my music and my art too often, but I did last year. It felt like do or die, so I just did it.
Yeah. All right, Adam, would you like to perform one more song for us before we let you go and get back to it? We certainly appreciate this.
Sure. I was thinking maybe I'd play guitar, which I don't do too often.
That's
Would that
amazing.
be all right?
Oh, whatever you want to do. That's great.
Okay. I'm gonna give the headphones to Will.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy. I'm gonna do a song, Bryan. Thank you so much. Can you grab me the capo too? Thank you. I'm gonna do a song off our new album.
Okay.
And it's a song that's just starting to get radio airplay quite a bit over the last month. And it's become sort of clear from the fans and the press that people seem to really like this song on the record. It's called Charyse. So I'm going to hand this to Will, and you'll tell me if it doesn't sound good, and I'll stop.
Okay. Sounds good.
What the hell happened to me? Forget about everything you heard. It's such a sickening scene. Coming back to the Charyse, if we get picked up by police, you tell me I'm your one and only. 'Cause there's a mark on my cheek and you put kisses on my neck and said we don't have to speak. I don't expect a single thing, but now my patience is cheap. I'd give anything to not be lonely. Say, Charyse, I couldn't take it. Couldn't stand just to see you sleeping out on the street. No, I couldn't leave you lying like you're dead on the cold concrete. see. Doesn't matter to me, you never did it for me, no. Charyse, Charyse. Well, now you're taking off your shirt, wrap the baby in a sheet. It's such a desperate thing between your elbow and your fingers and on the back of your knees, the symbol of the resurrection. Say, Charyse, I couldn't take it, couldn't stand just to see you sleeping out on the street. No, I couldn't leave you lying like you're dead on the cold concrete. Going to the south side, wait at the station and wake up in a strange seat. It doesn't matter to me, you never did it for me, no. Charyse, Charyse. I saw this thing on TV about these kids in California who ended up with HIV. They didn't have any families. It scared the hell out of me. I'm still thinking about it 6 months later. You got a gorgeous face, baby, always wanted to get close. I always push you away. You said, let me fix it up. Well, it's way too late, so just please don't do me any favors. Say, Charyse, I couldn't take it, couldn't stand just to see you sleeping out on the street. No, I couldn't leave you lying like you're dead on the cold concrete. Going to the south side, wait at the station and wake up in a strange seat. It doesn't matter to me, you never did it for me, no. Charyse, Charyse. It doesn't matter to me, you never did it for me, no. Charyse, Charyse.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is really great. That is really great.
I thought
Gosh.
I'd do like an acoustic kind of folky version of it for you.
Oh, that was beautiful, man. That was really good. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yes. That is so great. You know, as we close here, Adam, you know, one of the things I think, like I've really immersed myself in your music. I've watched a lot of your live performances, and you know, the thing that gets me is like I read about you. You sort of talk about yourself as like, you know, you collect records, you collect music, and I feel like though what you really do is you collect stories. And I've seen where you said that you just kind of you obsess about the mundane. You really get interested in what people's lives are like on a day-to-day basis, like this real minutia that might not seem interesting, but then man, those characters really inhabit your art like nothing else. You collect stories, my friend.
Thank you. I agree. I think people are very interesting. And when I talk to young people, young artists, who they're like, if they ever say, I never know what to write about, to me, it's just look around you. There's so many people around us that are like invisible. When we do a concert at a venue, I notice the security people, the janitorial staff, the caterers. It's like in some ways they're invisible, but those people are interesting. They have lives. And then I go to the motel after the gig and I talk to the person behind the desk, and I talk to the waitress at the diner when I'm eating an omelet at 3 a.m. in Dubuque or whatever. And you learn about how people live. And I just find people interesting. I'll never get tired of traveling for that very reason. And so I've got such an appetite to hear how people live, and it does end up in my songs.
And I feel like, you know, you're like one of my college friends who people will just tell them stuff, right? And I feel like for you, you're the kind of person that people just open up to you, and they just because they're so willing to share. And when you are interested, they are ready to tell you a story about their lives.
Sure, I get stuck in conversations a lot. um, yeah, but yeah, it's like when I was telling you about when I lived in Memphis and I was 20 years old, I didn't have a car. So I had to hitch and borrow rides from people everywhere I went. We didn't have Uber. I didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't have like cabs on the street there. So I would go to a movie theater and ask the janitor for a ride home and become friends with them, or what, you know, go to a bookstore and somebody that works there. I wouldn't recommend that to people from a safety standpoint, but I also don't regret it because I got to know people. Um, it it's good to talk to people who aren't like you. It's a good thing, and I love doing that. So I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, and again, the characters that inhabit your songs, the characters that you put into the Private Lives video. It's a cool video, man. That's
Thank you.
tell us about the making of that.
Well, thank goodness we finished it with 10 seconds to spare before quarantine began.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But we shot it right here in Philly. There's a bar down the street called Ray's Happy Birthday Bar, and it's been a bar since Prohibition ended. I don't think they've cleaned it since then, to be honest with you. And so we shot there and at a few other kind of local spots in the city. And there's a diner here in Philadelphia that has a restroom with a two-way mirror for some reason.
Oh boy.
So
Okay.
we shot me performing the song through that mirror. You can look through the mirror.
Yeah. Okay.
It
So
don't
that's
make
what that
no
was.
damn
All right.
sense.
Uh-huh.
But it really worked beautifully for that. That diner worked beautifully for the video. And I just got different people, friends of mine. There's a drag queen night at Ray's birthday bar, and we shot and got some of those pals of mine in it, and you know, just interesting friends of mine in the video.
Yeah.
As well as the band. We shot the band at the last gig that the whole band did before quarantine was at a venue here called Boot and Saddle, which is now closed permanently. And we were one of the last things they had there. So I'm glad we captured that as well for the video.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I speak on behalf of everybody listening that's on this call right now. I mean, we cannot wait for live performance to come back, and I'm sure you can't either. I mean, I know that Tough Cookies, that's been a big thing for you, but I'm sure that you want to get back to performing for people.
I do. I'm going to do both, to be honest with you, because this Tough Cookies thing has been very special, and it's a whole different thing. It's an episodic performance. Every show is different songs, different topics, different guests. Like next week, Brian, I've got all the members of Sly and the Family Stone.
What?
I'm interviewing everybody but Sly. I've got Sly's daughter in his place, and we're doing a whole oral history of Sly and the Family Stone for Black History Month. Wow. And the week after that, I have Richard Hell from Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Yeah. And I recently interviewed Dion and Mike Nesmith from the Monkees and Darlene Love. And so it's an episodic variety show, and I love doing it. That being said, I can't wait to get back to my day job, which is coming to places like Kansas City and just absolutely turning all you people on in every way that I can. And yes, Gary, I hope to come to the Crossroads thing. Tell the people there to reach out to us. We'll come.
We would love that. We would love that. Yeah, we'd love for you to come, and man, to see you standing on the piano, stride, curve. You know, you're just like bent over and like contorted into all these different shapes, and still banging on the piano. It's wild. It's crazy.
I can't wait to do it. I love Kansas City. You know, listen, I'm big with the barbecue.
Of
And
course.
you guys
Yeah.
nail it with that every time I'm in town. Like Texas, Memphis, whatever. But like that Kansas City, Will knows what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm
Darn
talking
right.
about.
That's right. Excellent. Well, Adam, it's really been our pleasure. We thank you so much for the time. You've been so gracious to us today. The performance has been astounding. Private Lives is the record. Everybody check that out right now. We're so pleased to be playing, from the record on the bridge. And be safe and be well, my man. And let's get out to a performance sometime soon.
You too. Thank you all for spending this time with me. Thanks for having me on 90.9 FM, The Bridge, the greatest radio station in Kansas City, The Bridge. And I hope to see you healthy and at a show later this year or next year. Whenever it comes, it'll come. But just keep in touch, everybody. Love you all.
All right. And we'll see you on Tough Cookies Thursdays and Saturdays, right?
The Thursday show is private, patreon.com/Low Cut Connie. Everyone is welcome. And every Saturday is free. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Low Cut Connie. Always free.
All right. It's Adam Weiner from Low Cut Connie. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank
Be well.
you.